What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another video by yours truly. Listen, I don't care what DPS you're going to be using, what team compositions you're going to be building, who you're skipping. It doesn't matter. This build is so universally banger and applicable to all sub DPSs that you have to build it frame one and grind it as soon as possible and as much as possible. It'll all make sense, but essentially during the closed beta, I spent a good degree of time like figuring out all this stuff. And there was one build that you can put on all of your sub DPSs, and it's just going to make not only your main driver better and stronger and like 10x their damage, it's also going to make the sub DPS just function better as well. But let's go over the details of it and how it functions and what you want to try and aim for, and then it'll all make sense. First and foremost, this guy here, Dodrio looking ass, Impermanence Heron, I think he's the most important echo to farm in the game, simply because he's attached to a neutral set. It would be a big negative if he was attached to any of the elements, because then you would be forced to only use him on that elemental set, which would be obviously attached to the people of that element or belonging to that element. Anyways, because he's attached to a neutral set, massive W. He's also Overlord class. The beautiful thing about Overlord class, I believe I have it here. Overlord class is in Calamity, which 4 cost echoes. They can roll main stat crit rate and main stat crit damage. So farming Overlord classes in the open world, which in the beta, it was no cap to farming them. You just wait for them to respawn after like 5 minutes and you just keep grinding them out. You want to grind them out and try and get that crit rate, crit damage main stat for all of your sub DPSs so they can start popping off. Unless of course like dot characters come out that don't care about crit, then maybe it'll be attack. Regardless, you get what I'm saying with that. So grinding this set out just outright as a W just from this standpoint. But going back to it, let's talk about why he's so good. It's because of the set that he's attached to, his efficiency on using his animation. Using animations for too long is a bad thing in this game, because you can get punished during animation. They have no iframe. So if animations are long, it's actually a bit of a negative. His is relatively quick. It's not bad at all. After hitting an enemy, you restore 10 points of resonance energy to the current character. So your sub DPS, as soon as you pop this echo, they get 10 resonance energy towards their ultimate. That's good. Then it says in the next 15 seconds, if the current character casts the outro skill, that means when they exit the field and then somebody else comes into the field, the damage of the next character to take the stage can be increased by 12%, and it lasts for 15 seconds. So they get a 12% damage bonus. The next person coming into the field, which should be your main driver DPS. Let's say it's Calcharo and Yinlin. Yinlin will be rocking this set right here. And then when she exits the field with her outro skill, Calcharo comes into the field and gets a 12% damage bonus. But it doesn't stop there. This set here like doubles down on that value. In fact, I already have it pulled up right here. Energy regen for a 2-piece increased by 10% for the character rocking it. So for the example I provided, Yinlin would get a 10% energy recharge increase. 5-piece set, after using outro skill, the attack of the next resonator to enter the field increases by 22.5%, lasting 15 seconds. So now you get a 12% damage bonus given to the main driver DPS and a 22.5% attack increase for 15 seconds. Then we have to take into consideration the support DPS that's using this set. What do they do when they exit the field? So we have 2 outro skill perks, right? Compounding on top of each other. 12% damage bonus, 22.5%. Stay with me. Let's go over to Yinlin and see what she does when she exits the field as well. So Yinlin, upon exiting the field, aka popping her outro skill, which I believe you do need to build up some meter in order to pop the outro skill. I don't think you can just trigger it every time you exit the field with somebody, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it works that way. Anyways, when you pop outro skill with Yinlin, electro damage is increased by 20%. Resonance liberation damage bonus is increased by 25% for the main driver that's coming onto the field, the next character. So that's a 45% ultimate damage bonus, and then a 20% just flat out damage bonus to the entirety of the kit, so long as they're doing electro damage, of course. That's on top of the shit I just mentioned to you from the impermanence and the set that he's attached to. Like I said, that is a lot of damage increase multipliers being given to the main driver, thanks to that set being attached to sub DPS who also do something in addition to that. I actually made a little tier list here of characters who all give a damage bonus when they use their outro skill. Mortefi, 38% heavy attack damage bonus from the beta. She batteries the unit when she exits the field. 38% ultimate damage bonus from Kung Fu Panda right here. I call her Kung Fu Panda because she's black and white and she throws straight hands. 38% ultimate damage bonus from her. 38% resonance skill damage bonus. She's best in slot for Dying Gene, but this girl would be an absolute menace with Ji-Yan, right? The 38% ultimate damage bonus, that's a massive freaking damage bonus for him. And then we have Yinlin. We just went over her. Sanhua, I think it's like a 38% or something like that damage bonus ice wise, which means she would be a great option to put that set on for this guy right here. And then we have Alto, who gives a wind damage bonus. He would also be another alternative. If you don't have Kung Fu Panda, then you use him to give that damage bonus to Ji-Yan. Case in point, slapping that set on all of these units who can be fantastic sub DPS or dual DPS. You know what I mean? They're giving all of those bonuses over to the dedicated DPS that you're going to be utilizing on that team. And the only thing you have to do is grind the Impermanence Heroine along with that set, which I want to go over that a little bit further so that it makes perfect sense. So if we go over to the Moonlit Cloud set, you got the description right here, but then it shows all of the echoes that are attached to the Moonlit Cloud set, right? You have all your echoes. Now, what's important to establish here is not every set has the same quantity of the class of echoes. This one here has one Overlord and one Calamity. Both of them have the ability to drop main stat crit rate crit damage, which is massive because you have up to 12-point cap to build these echoes, right? So if you were to put two of them on the same set, you'd be at 8 points, which means you'd have 4 points remaining. So you could put 2 crit rate main stat pieces on if you wanted to, because 4 cost units drop that. And then you can put 3 level 1, little minions on just because you wanted that particular character to have 2 dual crit rates, or crit rate or crit damage main stats. That's an option. You also have the option of doing 1 crit rate main stat and then doing double elites as the build system to have damage bonus, double damage bonus, or maybe damage bonus energy recharge. Allow me to elaborate on that so it makes sense. So me personally, I would do Impermanence Heroine and I would do like elite. What is the benefit of the elites? Allow me to show you that. So if we come over here and we click elite, which is a 3 cost echo, they are the only ones in the game. The Calamities and the Overlords, as well as the 1 costs, cannot do this. They are the only ones in the game that can drop elemental main stat damage bonuses, which is massive, right? That is a damage bonus. And it's very rare in this game to get damage bonuses outside of outro skills in this particular method. So with those 2 elites, you could grind 2 different elites and get 2 main stat electro damage bonuses for somebody like Yinlin, or an arrow damage bonus for somebody like the Kung Fu Panda girl. But basically that is an optimal way of building that sub DPS so that they can still pop off. The other good thing about the set, energy regen is going to be good too, and probably a sleeper on certain characters. But another good thing about that set is, coming back over here, it actually has 4 elite echoes inside of the set. A lot of the sets, you see we have 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 elites. A lot of these other sets, they have 1, 2, and 3 elites. Matter of fact, I'd say every single other set in the game only has 3 elites to grind, whereas this one has 4, and I think the healing set also has 4, right? But who cares about healing sets, bro? These are the only 2 sets in the game with 4 elites, which means you have more chances of grinding those main stat pieces that you actually want to grind. So regardless of whether you want to do an Overlord and a Calamity with 3 level 1s, or an Overlord with 2 elites and 3 level 1s, or 2 level 1s, I'm sorry, you have those options available with this set, and it's universally applicable to all your sub DPSs, which is insane. And the last little tidbit I want to touch up on is Overlord and Calamities drop crit rate, crit damage as a main stat, right? Whereas elites drop Arrow, Glacial Fusion, Electro, Havoc, and Spectro. If you scroll down here, it also shows the sub stats that they have a chance of dropping as well. And here's the thing, if you want to have a universal set that you can put on all your sub DPSs, obviously you want to strive for crit rate, crit damage, because that crit is king, and then energy regen. Every single one of your sub DPSs is going to be able to utilize all 3 of these stats, right? Now, of course, it's going to take some grind to do, but once you get that set taken care of, you got the universal sub DPS set, like set, ready to rock. You just put it on all your characters. And that's an amazing perk to have for all your DPS characters. Will save a ton of resources as opposed to you building multiple different sets. And I'm pretty sure it's best in slot in terms of buffing. Me personally, I'm going to be grinding that whole entire build as soon as I possibly can, and then I'll be putting that on all of my sub DPSs until something better, of course, down the road comes out. But that's going to wrap up this video. As always, I hope I brought you guys some good banger value. And if anything ends up changing, of course, I'll be able to update that. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side.